guys, this is Andy over at Falco Canine Academy. Welcome to Detection Dog Training. Now what I hope to do over the next hour and a half or so of these training videos in our members only section of our website is to assist you in being a better trainer for you and your dog and a better handler for you and your dog. Now, many trainers or vendors that I know, they would blame you for everything. This dog was great until I gave him to you. You're causing your own problems in your dog, and blah, blah, blah. Now, some of that may be true. However, it is my job as the trainer and the vendor of many handlers and dogs in that I make sure and give the handlers the skills that they need to maintain the proper behaviors. Now, this video is going to be just that very thing. I'm hoping that throughout this video, I will be able to give you little tools and tricks and that type of thing that will help you be a better handler and a better trainer for you and your dog. Now, there are many things that come up in leash handling, the speed of your search, the direction of your search, the type of training aids that you are using, how you're using them, cross-contamination, and those types of things that need to be brought up from time to time so that we can remind you what it is that you need to do to make sure that you are training as effectively and working as effectively as possible. Now, as we go through this tape, you may be able to skip around and that kind of thing. That's okay. But I would watch it through from start to beginning to make sure you don't miss anything, because there may be some things that you don't think will apply to you. However, you may realize that it's because of maybe this particular thing, it's leading to a difference in another issue and may on the surface be entirely different in your mind, but actually can be closely related. There's nothing wrong with going back to the basics of training, the basics of your maintenance training to get the desired result that you want in something that is way advanced. So you may have to go all the way back to the beginning of your training in order to get back to this very advanced part of your job as a detection dog, and there's nothing wrong with going back to the beginning. Don't be afraid to do that. Some guys only go back a little bit and try to keep fixing this problem, but just can't seem to get there. It's because they're not going back far enough. So keep that in mind. Don't skip anything just because you don't think that it pertains to whatever it is you're doing at the time. All right. So one of the first things that we want to talk about is we want to talk about what type of leash and how you're going to use that type of leash. We have a 6-foot line or something like that you might think that might be more effective for you. Some handlers use a little bit of a shorter leash. Now we're going to talk about leash handling and how it can affect or not affect you and your dog as you're on the search. Okay, guys. Now, there's, I wouldn't say necessarily controversy, because I don't know if there's that many people talking about it, but there's a lot of issue about what size or what length leash to use. In all of our leashes, what I recommend most handlers use are leashes that just are a single line with a handle and a hasp. No extra handles down here so you can hold the dog close to you. Nothing dangling from it like a potty bag. As you can see, this is Butch here. Butch, you see a lot of Butch because he's one of our currently trained dogs that are looking for a home. He is a detection dog. I'm not going to tell you what he's trained for because I don't want it to dissuade you from learning anything in this program, because I don't want you to get caught up into what the dog is searching for, but better just understand that this is a detection dog, which is probably no different than whatever detection dog it is that you're using. But back to this 4-footer, I really think the 4-footer limits you as far as when you want to get in and around and behind things. And it doesn't give you enough leeway as far as when you want to allow the dog to push into an area. And if you're searching a big, huge warehouse and you have to get in between two large shelving units or something like that, or underneath a vehicle, you're going to be limited as far as how far the dog can go. So I prefer a 6-foot line. And again, just make sure it doesn't have a bunch of extra things on there. And the 6-foot line will give you a little bit more leeway as far as how far the dog can go into the area that you want the dog to go. Are you okay? Now, some people are intimidated by the length because they don't want to drag it on the ground or stepping out of it, that type of thing. We're going to show you some skills here to, hey, shush, show you some skills here to allow you to work with a longer line more effectively without getting it all tangled up in the dog. Now, first of all, you want the line to be draped over your hand, just like this. You don't want it to be all bundled about. So, be all bundled about your hand like this, or in a bunch like this, because now you're stuck. Now you went from a 6-footer to a 3-footer, and you're kind of stuck until you drop a bunch of the line, and you're trying to regather it up and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, so you want it out, and you want it draped over your hand. Now, this positioning of the leash will allow the leash to work out of your hand. Yeah. The leash to work out of your hand, and then for you to pull it back through so it doesn't get tangled up in the dog's legs. So the dog's going to work away from you. Yeah, sit. Work away from you. And then when the dog gets close to you, or you get close to the dog, you pull it through so it doesn't get tangled up in the dog's legs. Okay? So let's watch a little bit of this in action. There's nothing in any of these cinder blocks, but we're going to use these for a primary search area just to help illustrate the leash. All right, Butch. So as the dog works away from me, I can let the line out, and as the dog gets close, I will pull the dog into me, or pull the leash into me so that it doesn't get tangled up. You see how it never got in the dog's legs? Now, if you hold on to the end, and that is your habit, you're going to go tell the dog to search. And you see how much line gets out there, it gets tangled up on things, or gets caught behind things. Doing a good job searching. Fortunately for me, it didn't get tangled up in the dog's legs, but it is something that will happen quite often. Okay, so allow me to show you that again, the ability to have the dog search away from me, but yet maintain a hold of the leash. But sit. Sit. And I never really even had to move. The dog was doing all the searching by itself. If you have too short a leash, then you have to be there for the dog all the way through. And it's really kind of irritating. You're bugging the dog, you're getting in the dog's way. You shouldn't have to be here making your dog search all the way around. That's going to be something we're going to talk about later. However, being too close to your dog, crowding him. Now this is kind of easy because it's cinder blocks, but if I were to search this area and to crowd him, I'd be blocking him because I'm too close. I'm sitting here trying to get him to search all these little tiny areas. That's not the appropriate way to search. All right? We want the dog to search and work independently of the handler. Sit. Now, I make Butch sit before we start our search because I want his eye contact. I want to know that we have a starting position. I want to know that we have understanding, that we're going to get ready to search for something. All right, now there are many ways to go on this. If I have a dog that really isn't as motivated as Butch is, I may want the dog standing. I might want the dog smelling the air, and I want to see some motivation out of the dog. But Butch, you know, he's got quite a bit of energy, as you can see. He doesn't need any extra oomph to go out and search. All I need to do is get his eye contact and tell him to search. And he'll go off and he'll start searching. All right, so again, that works for me. And again, see how I work the line with my hand. If he comes too close, then I bring it in. And we'll let him search around again so you can see. I hold him back so he doesn't go too far. Bring him back. As he comes closer, I draw the leash through my hands. And again, let him search around again. And see, I can go all the way to the end of the line, and when he comes back, I can just pull it through. I can change hands, and now I'm working on the other hand. All right? So we can search both directions using this technique, which is the best way to go. Draw it back in. All right? Search. I'm going to allow him to kind of just search through this, and you can see how we work the line. Let him go out. Oh, okay, that's far enough. Come on back. And we're working, again, the line both directions. Switch hands and come back the other way. He's getting kind of goofy because he's going, hey, I've searched these things like 5 times. And I can do it again, and then we'll come back, and look at I can go just the other way very simply. All right, let the leash go out. Step back as the dog comes back, and we pull it through. All right, so he's telling me, he goes, hey, I've searched all those things. There's nothing there, dummy. All right, so now you see that skill of moving the leash in and out, in and out. All right, so this next part is really important. You really got to pay attention on this next part.